Like about the best youngsters in the world, like about João Neves, Lamine Yamal, obviously out of the way, guys like that, the new guy is going to be in conversations, and that is Juventus Kenan Yildiz. He's a guy that right now is going through his breakout season at Juventus, even though we're only like 5 games into the season. He's already shown he's probably, in my opinion, in the conversation to be a top 5 left winger in the world. He has 6 contributions in 4 games, and he's probably is Juventus' main player and best player right now. And he's the one that's carrying them to, I think, start second place in Serie A, and an amazing game against Dortmund that got him a point. So let's talk about him and see what his potential is, and how good can he be, and how good is he right now in terms of being at Juventus, and where can he go in his career. I think we talk a lot about Arda Güler being the next Turkish giant, but I think Kenan Yildiz is a guy that probably right now is better than Arda Güler, and can probably even reach higher heights than Arda Güler can in terms of potential. It's a guy that, I mean, really, if you watch him play at Juventus, he's our best player right now. He's a player that really makes a difference when he's on the pitch, and you can see that. He's an amazing player. He's a player who likes to play more into half space. He can occasionally play more into the slide to left wing, but he's a guy that can very much reverse to play on the half space in the left flank, and he's a guy that, dribbling-wise, I don't see a lot of guys right now that, especially coming up, especially Brazilian and South American players, that are very good at dribbling. I think we have more and more guys who are very technically gifted, I'll say, and very good at dribbling. But Kenan Yildiz is a guy that, dribbling-wise, maybe one of the best players in the world. His body control, his dribbling is just amazing. Can go past 2-3 players very easily in their own defense. And also the guys that are playing a solo block, he's a guy that can break solo blocks very easily. Not the guy that needs space to run behind the defense and try to drill plays that way. He's a guy that even in close spaces can get past 2 or 3 guys in a very easy way. Also a guy who, if you see Juventus, you see the games, the goals is already scored for Juventus. He's a guy that, in terms of, he has an amazing long-range shooting. Obviously, like that kind of his trademark finish is cutting into the right side and scoring, kind of like Lamine Yamal does on the left wing, cutting onto the left side and curving the ball. What Kenan Yildiz does on the opposite flank. Also seen a lot of goals more in central areas, especially in long-range shooting. That kind of shows how a variety of shots in terms of long-range ways he can score. And I think the biggest difference we are seeing that from last year to now is really his playmaking and his ability to create for others. Like he already has, I think, 5 assists, and I think that might be wrong. I think like 3-4 assists. I know for sure he is Serie A's leader in assists. I think top 3 in assists as well. I think he's first in key passes or second. So he's a guy that you can definitely see the difference in him being able to create for others compared to last year. He's not being able to use his gravity in terms of getting past players, and the gravity is going to use to attract players to defend, attract defenders in a way that's opened up spaces for the other teammates in the team. And we've seen, even in crossing, I think we've seen a much more improved crossing ability from him this year. He's a guy that right now, we're talking a lot about these young wingers, with a lot of like unfinished players. Like I said, still a bit raw. And position making the final third, they still a bit on raw. In terms of like even the crossing and the playmaking, we start to see that. But Kenan Yildiz is a guy that right now is very much a well-rounded winger. Is a guy that right now could very much be a finished product for a lot of wingers we see. Again, I very much believe he is a top 5 left winger in the world. I think the position right now in world football is a bit like, in terms of comparing left winger to right winger, I think we see a very big decrease of quality in the left side of the winger position. Again, it is a guy that's just amazing, 20 years of age at Juventus. I think it's not just a recognition last year at Juventus. I think this year will definitely be the year we see his breakthrough campaign happen in Italy. And I think, he's just an amazing player. And also I'm seeing a lot of TikTok edits about him right now, and a lot of people are kind of catching up on him. And I've seen some people say that he's maybe the best player there in Italy. I wouldn't really mind that a label. I think it might still be a bit too early, but I think in terms of offensive-wise, I don't think there are a lot more players that Kenan Yildiz that can offer as much offensively, they can impact the game as offensively as Kenan Yildiz can. And I think the football world needs to put more eyes on him, especially after that game against Dortmund, because this year, obviously, I think that's 1 game only. I think he's played 4 or 5 games. I think it's 4, it's 4 games. And only one of those games he didn't have a contribution, even though he still played pretty well. But the games they played the best was against Inter, the 4-2 game that you probably saw, where Juventus scored in the last minutes. He's a guy that Juventus were only able to win that game because of Kenan Yildiz. He scored once, assisted once, and was amazing in that game. And against the Dortmund's Champions League, I think it was like maybe no, I'm tweaking. But Dortmund, obviously a big stage, especially like in tough games like that. Again, 1 goal, 1 assist. And that is just like really amazing to see, because a lot of these youngsters obviously they don't have a lack of experience. Again, like these big stages, in these big games, they're probably not going to be that much reliant to perform. Like obviously older experienced players, more veterans are going to be able to understand the pressure that comes with these games and be able to play better against type of opponents. Again, this is a guy that I saw on the page again, as able to come in these big games and play the way he's able to play. And it's just probably Juventus' best player, even in these key games. Also, see like Lamine Yamal, instead of playing against come and lead in these big games, and also a lot of times able to take the reins of the Barcelona team in order to lead them into these big games. I think Kenan Yildiz is taking a similar approach to that of the Yamal Barcelona, and really seeing like obviously in the last couple of years, I think we're seeing Juventus in a very bad state compared to what we've seen. Usually, because also I grew up with seeing Juventus win league. I think like 8 straight in Italy, and now like in the last 5 to 6 years we kind of seen that Greece saw Inter win some, Milan in one, Napoli win 2 as well, and we haven't seen like an amazing player also since Ronaldo. Maybe, I mean, even Ronaldo didn't really make a lot of feature at Juventus. I think like spent 3 years then maybe 3 or 4 max. I think Kenan Yildiz, if obviously he remains at Juventus, obviously. So I don't know who said that, but obviously it's going to be very difficult for Juventus to hold him because of the economical power that Premier League holds over the other leagues in the world and in Europe. But if he's able to stay at Juventus and play there for 6-7 more years, then we're very much going to be able to see him become, again, one of those icons in Juventus, because obviously he had the appeal to become an icon. Del Piero become a very much Juventus icon. You see like Buffon, Bonucci, Chiellini, we grew up watching those guys play at Juventus. And Kenan Yildiz has the potential to be a better contender, first and foremost, if he's able to continue this form. And Juventus should play pretty well. I think what's worse again with them is their defense. I mean, they consider 8 goals against Inter and Dortmund, and Inter are really a big offensive team. But still, if you see Kenan Yildiz continue to play all these years at Juventus, we're very much going to see, I think, a new era icon for Juventus, a player that's going to be able to be their Juventus icon that I think haven't seen for a very long time, especially in terms of offensively. Because we see Del Piero, but since then, like we see Del Piero, Zidane, but we haven't seen in a very long time a Juventus player that's able to really get themselves to be a Juventus icon, as the way that Yildiz had right now the potential to do. Also, Ronaldo was, but he didn't really have an amazing stint or a very long stint. I think that's a better way to put it at Juventus. Maybe some guys that were going to come back, and Kies probably was the newest one, the more recent one that maybe had the potential to do it. But to talk about Kenan Yildiz potentially again being a Ballon winner, and I won't be surprised if we talk about next year to come. We see Kenan Yildiz be a guy that's top 20, top 15 Ballon contenders if Juventus win some titles and is able to perform well with Turkey in the next World Cup. So a lot of things happen with Kenan Yildiz. I think he has the potential to be one of the best left wingers of generation. He's a guy that is always so good. I think again, that's the same case with Lamine Yamal. We're seeing how good he is. We recognize that he's still very young, that he can still reach even more heights. Again, 20 years of age, is really starting to take the reins of this Juventus team, really establish himself as the best player of the Juventus team. I'm really excited to see how he can do it with the Juventus national team. I'm sure Turkey is going to be qualifying to the World Cup. I think like there's 2 qualifiers going on for Turkey. So again, I'm really also interested to see how Yildiz will be playing the World Cup next year, and again to see how his career will play out, even if he's on Juventus, if he's going to move out to another team. Again, Kenan Yildiz is a guy that if you can buy stock on him, I like this year that's going to be the year that puts him on the big stage, and after that, the sky's the limit, truly.